Picture this. You're jolted awake by headlines blasting everywhere. 6 people have vanished, and it's all being tied to a shadowy online cult. Terrifying, right? The scariest part is it isn't fiction. It's happening right now, maybe even closer to home than you think. What if I told you there's a hidden world just a click away, and most of us don't even realize how easily we could fall into its trap? Before we get into it, don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss any updates from our channel. Trust me, you're going to want to stick with this one, because by the end, you might start to see your own friends and neighbors through a brand new lens. Let's pull back the curtain and get real. Why does it feel like Americans are swept up in cults left and right, while folks in the UK just shrug it off? We need to nail down what the word cult even means. Seriously, there's so much noise out there, but the heart of it is simple. A cult is not just a group with hobbies or quirky rituals. It's a community that clings obsessively to a powerful belief, almost always giving unquestioned loyalty to a charismatic leader. This isn't about a harmless club or your favorite fandom. The very word cult comes from cultus, tied to worship. No wonder these groups are always searching for someone to honor. Sure, you'll hear people say, well, aren't all religions just cults? It's not so black and white. True cults hide what they do, create bizarre internal rules, and demand loyalty that cuts you off from the rest of the world. Imagine, your Sunday morning routine is baking banana bread for your neighbor and having a friendly debate at church? That's nothing like a cult. But shave your head, hand over your savings for salvation, and cut ties with everyone who questions the group? Yeah, you're in cult territory now. And it's more than mysterious ceremonies. There's this gray area, a little cultishness here, a bit of fanatic loyalty there. People even joke about tech superfans or fitness cults. But the line is crossed when secrecy, absolute power, and toxic control take over. Here's the question almost nobody wants to confront. Is America simply the heavyweight champ of cults? Get this. Right now, estimates say the US is home to over 10,000 cults. That's huge. Thousands of groups luring people in, some offering spiritual awakening, others bleeding members dry for cash. Compare that to the UK with about 2,000 cults. Yes, the US is larger, but there's a deeper reason. There's something uniquely American about this bizarre love affair with secretive groups. You see it in stories that keep popping up, like the Was I in a Cult podcast, where survivors talk about escaping horrifying groups like Nix IVM, a group that claimed to offer self-help but turned into a web of blackmail, branding, and abuse, all masterminded by Keith Raniere. You're not supposed to notice what's lurking beneath at first, and that's by design. Or think about Scientology. It's notorious both in America and the UK, but its epicenter is the US. There's the 12 tribes who believe they need to build a new Israel for the Messiah to come, complete with their own yellow deli cafes in American cities. One reviewer even joked, good food, bad cult. If you want your skin to crawl, look at Jonestown and the People's Temple. Jim Jones convinced more than 900 followers to die together in Guyana by drinking cyanide-laced Kool-Aid, all in 1978. That's where the phrase, don't drink the Kool-Aid, comes from. Can you imagine the horror? Even Portugal and France have seen cults take hold, but nothing matches the frequency in America. Meanwhile, in Britain, you'll find groups like the Universal Church of the Kingdom of God, but massive spectacles like Heaven's Gate, where dozens tried to ride a hidden spaceship behind a comet, are extremely rare. So, what's fueling this American epidemic? Religion is a cornerstone piece. The US is far more religious than the UK, and it's not an accident. Think about the first British settlers arriving in America, Puritans and other deeply religious souls trying to live out their faith with absolute freedom. Wave after wave of immigrants brought their spiritual traditions, Catholicism, Judaism, and so many others. These roots run deep. Now, check this out. In the US, more than 40% of adults head to church every month, and about 20% show up every single week. In the UK, closer to 5%. That huge gap isn't just about statistics. You can feel it in daily life. This doesn't mean everyone at church is joining a cult, but there's something about following powerful orators that sometimes slides into dangerous ground. Only in America does it feel pretty normal for a single person to declare themselves a prophet, start a congregation, and build a whole movement almost overnight. Sometimes that's beautiful community work, but sometimes it becomes deadly serious fast. The UK's more relaxed vibe and low-key church attendance mean fewer openings for charismatic leaders to go unchecked. But religious culture isn't the only piece. Here's something that will surprise you. The way each country supports its people might make a difference too. In the UK, you've got universal healthcare, council housing, and a net that catches many who fall on hard times. In America, if you lose your job or your home, you're often left without that safety net. That's a breeding ground for cults, offering food, shelter, and a place to belong, sometimes when people feel completely alone. For some, American cults look more like communes, offering a solution to people pushed to the margins. But what about money schemes? Multi-level marketing companies, MLMs, have some shockingly cult-like traits. They're everywhere in the US, but not nearly as relentless in the UK. Get this, roughly 99.6% of MLM participants don't make a profit and often lose money, but leaders keep pushing loyalty, secrecy, and a blind eye to criticism. It's not just bad business. In a society where people are desperate for hope and belonging, it's easy for a side hustle to morph into something much darker. But what really draws someone in? It isn't always wild beliefs or dreams of UFOs. In many cases, it's about loneliness or the ache of disconnection. You might think, aren't people in the UK lonely too? Of course. But let's get real. American culture feels different. If independence was a religion, the US would be its world headquarters. The mythos of lone pioneers, hustling entrepreneurs, and the idea that every person should stand on their own, it's electrifying but also isolating. Even the national system, with each state having its own rules, reinforces this separation over unity. In that emptiness, people hunt for something that brings them together. That's where religion can step in, but it's also where cults sneak in, filling the cracks with promises of belonging, meaning, even family. In Britain, people have a different vibe. Collective responsibility, a history of sticking together through crises, think the Blitz, the pandemic, or the way people united to protect the NHS by staying home during COVID-19. Brits are often more willing to go with public guidance if it's for the common good. Americans, most can't stand being told what to do, which fans that fierce individualism. This sometimes means people are left searching, even desperate, for community. Cults, they know exactly how to target that need. And all of this leads to the cult leaders themselves. Here's where America really stands apart. Charisma is not just valued, it's seen as a survival skill. From childhood, Americans are taught to be bold speakers. School routines, debates, class presentations, plays, you name it. Public speaking and persuasion aren't just encouraged, they're required. That's why the country is overflowing with natural communicators, people trained to command attention, inspire loyalty, and, when it goes wrong, manipulate those who just want to belong. Compare that to the UK, where self-promotion is seen as a little suspect, and you get a quieter, less showy leadership style. That subtle difference changes everything, making America an even easier stage for cult frontmen to shine. When you piece it all together, a society bursting with religious passion, shaky support networks, a deep streak of individualism, and the art of persuasive showmanship, it's like a recipe for cults to multiply. And you might be wondering, why does any of this matter to you? Because this is more than a headline. Real people all around us are caught up in these secret worlds with devastating consequences. Sometimes what looks like a simple club, self-help group, or opportunity is actually a trap designed to exploit loneliness, fear, or hope. Nobody thinks they'll fall in, but life gets tough, and human beings are wired to seek meaning and connection. It doesn't take a wild belief to get hooked. It just takes feeling alone at the wrong moment or meeting a leader who seems to answer all your questions. So next time cults come up, don't get distracted by the far-out stories or strange rituals. The truth is way bigger and more unsettling. It's about how our cultures shape us, sometimes making us vulnerable to things we never saw coming. Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this. Stay sharp, stay curious, and remember, you deserve to know what's really going on behind the promises.